Hey, what's up guys? Chris Trini here for ChrisCore Productions. Welcome to another very basic tutorial in After Effects. In this tutorial we're going to be applying effects onto footage, onto an actual clip. So it's going to be really exciting because we're going to be covering how to key footage, so how to key a green screen or blue screen out. And we're going to be looking at a couple other techniques as well in order to create some masks and rotoscoping some elements that you don't want to see in your footage. So those are all really fancy words, but do not worry, we're going to take it step by step and we're going to figure this out together. So the first thing that you want to do is import your footage into your project panel here, and once you do that, you're going to want to create a new composition with that footage. So an easy way to do that is you just click and drag that onto this little icon here, and that will create a new composition with the same settings of this clip. So same resolution, same frame rate, and the same length. So let's get started here, and the first effect that I'm going to be applying to this clip is called Keylight. And what that's going to do is it's pretty much going to get rid of this green background, so we can replace it with some street footage or anything else that you want. You can have a train or a semi truck or something coming in the direction of this guy, and he's too busy looking at the camera here. So let's drag and drop that effect on there, and nothing happens. And that's because you got to tell Keylight what color it's going to key out. So to do that, we're gonna click on this little pick whip tool. I think that's what that's called. I'm not sure. But once you click on that, you're going to be able to select the color of your green screen. So I told Keylight that that's pretty much the color that you want to make transparent. Now, if you're not seeing this grid once you follow this step and you're only seeing a black background, that's because you don't have this this transparency grid on. And a simple way to do it is you just go here, you click it, and it just pops up. And what this is pretty much a checkered pattern to give you a better visual understanding of what's transparent in your composition. So picture it this way: any hole that you have in your footage pretty much will show this grid to let you know that there's a hole there, that it's transparent. So we not only see this grid where we want to see it, we're also seeing it in places where we don't want to see it. If I toggle this on and off, you can see that this dashboard here is a little bit transparent. We're still seeing a little bit of the shadows from the green screen here. So it's definitely a mess. It's far from something that's anywhere near acceptable. But we're going to be playing around with these settings in order to improve this quite a bit. Now, I'm not going to actually go into all the details and make this perfect, but I'm going to show you just enough so that you can get started and make some awesome effects. So what I usually do is I increase the clip black just a touch, and in this case I can't do it too much. This was actually shot in very low light, so this is a particular case, but usually that helps out a little bit. And also, if you decrease the clip white, that gets rid of some of those semi-transparent areas in your clip that you actually don't want to be transparent. So play around with these settings until you find something that matches what you're trying to do. Also, something that can help sometimes is increasing the screen gain just a touch. Okay, so we're still, seeing a little bit of transparency here, and that's because if I switch this off for now, if I hit on this effects button next to the effects name, it toggles the effect off. So right now we see the original clip without the effect, and as you can see, this dashboard is kind of reflecting some of that green screen brightness on there. So that's why you're seeing some of the transparency show up here, and also in the chrome part of these events here. So nothing that you can't fix if you keep messing around with this. But for now, we're gonna be just focusing on this issue over here, and this is kind of a really slow process. It's really painful to do because it's just a frame by frame process. So let me just show you how to do that. If you select the pen tool, shortcut for that is G. You can, with the clip selected, make sure this is selected, you can start creating a basic shape. Well, be detailed if you want to make it look good, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I am just gonna kind of be a little bit lazy. Something good to do when you're doing masks is actually zoom in and get the right shape. But anyways, what we're doing is we're just clicking different points, and once I connect it back to the starting point over here, you're going to see that now it isolates only that area. So anything inside that mask shows. Now for what we want to do, we actually want the opposite. So if I select a layer and I hit M on my keyboard, that brings up some of the mask properties. And you see this this little box here that says add. If I click on that, it gives me a list, and if I set it to subtract, now it's doing the exact opposite. So it's kind of cutting a hole in the image instead of just showing you what's within the mask. Now another problem that we have with this, right now it's looking, it's looking pretty good. It looks nice and clean, but as I move forward, that because that mask is not moving, you're gonna start seeing some pretty bad and obvious issues with that. So what we want to do is actually animate the mask to follow the movement and the edges of the windshield. And this is kind of the pain in the butt part, because you need to keyframe it. So you hit the stopwatch to create a new keyframe, and then you literally have to go frame by frame, or every other frame depending on how detailed you want to be, and really just make sure that all of these points match with the edge of your windshield. Now this is a little hard to do this way, so usually something that I do is I duplicate the layer, and for this bottom one I actually delete the mask. So now when I go back to the top one, I can still see my mask, but I can also see the edges a little bit better. It definitely helps out a little bit. And this bottom one is just for reference, so you can even delete the effect on it for now. So again, we're just using this as reference, so we can just keep animating all of those points to match the windshield. So you can see where this is going. You just got to pretty much move all these points. So go forward frame. Like I said, you don't have to be this detailed. You can even skip forward quite a few frames, and then readjust the mask that way, and keep doing that all the way through. Now we're losing the rearview mirror here, so what you want to do is actually create another mask just for that. With the top layer selected, you're just going to want to make a new mask that follows the shape of the rearview mirror. And I'm doing a terrible job here. So just make sure you're getting the whole thing. And once I turn this bottom layer off, you can see that it's back there again. This is pretty terrible. But again, if you keyframe all those points, so go back to M, make a new keyframe by hitting the stopwatch for the second mask, go frame by frame, and just keep moving this mask around.
One eternity later.
And there you go. Once you're done with the mask, you should have something like this, just a mask that kind of moves around with the edges of whatever you're trying to mask. Now this is slightly more advanced than what I actually anticipated on making on this tutorial, because if you look at a more basic way of using this same tool, this masking tool, I could even use it to, let's say, get rid of this stuff. And if I'm walking here and I'm talking in front of the green screen, and I key out the green, then I definitely don't want to see all of this. So what I can do is I can just simply create a really basic mask, just like we did before, with the clip selected, and then there we go. Now I just have the green screen. So once I throw on there a nice Keylight effect, now you can see that it's just me, and I don't have all of this junk. We kind of took it a step further and went into animating it and everything. So I apologize if this was a little bit too advanced for the type of tutorial, but hopefully you've learned a few things, and this can be used for a ton of stuff. So if this still doesn't look too good, you can actually smoothen this this mask out. Instead of being just a sharp kind of cutting into the footage, you can actually make it a little bit more smooth. So if we select a clip with the masks and we hit M, now we know that if we hit M only one time, then it brings up some of the mask properties, but if we hit MM on the keyboard, it actually brings up all of the mask properties. So you can see that we have our mask path, which is what we animated, And there's a few other options, but what we're going to be looking at is mask feather. So let me activate that that grid back up here. And if I go really closely, you know, this isn't perfect, but something that kind of helps these jagged edges. If you're doing like a really fast and lazy mask like this one was, you can actually feather this out. So let's type in, let's say 5. Now you can notice a subtle change over here, and you know, you can go crazy, 20, and you can really see what that does. It feathers it out, so it kind of blurs the edges out, so it makes it a little bit more smooth. Usually I do like 5 for something like this. You know, no edge is always that sharp whenever you're masking something out, because chances are it's not in perfect focus. So it definitely helps stuff blend in a little bit better. And then if we add, like, let's say a 10 to the rear mirror, you can see that it's a little bit better. Well, maybe the 10 is too much. Let's do a 5 as well for this. So it definitely looks a lot better. And now the next step to all of this is to simply just add a background. So I just have a just simple picture of a street. So it's a little too big, so let's scale this down. And level it up. And since we're covering effects, you know, why not blur that background out? So let's type in fast blur, and if I click and drag that onto our background image, I can just bump up the blurriness, and you know, that's looking a little bit better. Now if you want to match the colors of this at all, you know, we're kind of sidetracking a little bit, but it's still effects, so we can kind of apply this. Let's just add a tint effect. So again, you know, we're just adding it to our background image. And what we can actually do, a cool little trick, is, you know, this is not perfect, but we can kind of match the colors of the car by using this tool again to select the color. Now that we have that range of color selected, we can just pick a brighter tone of colors, and you know, that matches a little bit better. It almost looks like it has the same lighting, and if it's too much, you could drop it down to 60, maybe 70. So everything is blending in a lot better, and you know, this is actually pretty decent. Anyways guys, that concludes this tutorial. I hope I didn't lose you in any parts, but if I did, check out my Learn After Effects in 20 Minutes tutorial. That will definitely give you a pretty decent head start. And I also have a couple other tutorials. One of the more recent ones are animating in After Effects, as well as part 1 of this tutorial, which looks at generating effects inside of After Effects. So I really hope all these tutorials help you guys. And if you want to help me, just share, like, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate everything that you guys do. Every view counts, and you know, every comment that you guys give me, I try to reply to every single one of them. But anyways, before I start rambling, as usual, I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you next time.